Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Moving to the assignment questions, the first question is, what is the chief method of data collection in sociology? So now when we were talking about the aspect of sociology, we saw in the differences that sociology has the data collection of major data collection as social surveys, and that is what makes it different from the social anthropology. Moving on to who divided sociology into social statistics and social dynamics is what we have discussed in the previous video. It was M.H. Carr who did it, and we have talked about it. What is value neutrality? Again, when the sociologist, we have talked about it in the previous video, that when the scholar who is there, he is not really putting any biases, is not really adding any biases, while the analysis of the information is going on, is known as the value neutrality. Moving on, what is the meaning or what is meant by sociological perspective? When you have an understanding, when you have a brief, understanding of your opinions about what is happening in the society, is what is termed as the sociological perspectives. Moving ahead is the short answers, wherein the first one is asking you to understand what do you understand by historical sociology and by social history. So basically, when you see or when you have the usage of the historical data, when you have the usage of the historical data in sociology, that is what gives rise to historical sociology. On the other hand, when you understand that events cannot be understood without reference to other events, and you have the reference of sociological data in history, is what is known as the sociological history. Moving ahead to what they talk about, find two similarities between economics and sociology. So both study about economical aspects, however their scope of study is different. They both have the relations, they both study about the human society, they both study about the economical aspects and the relationships between those economical aspects as well. Why did Comte call sociology a positive science of society? We have talked about it in the previous video, that when we talk about sciences or when we talk about a society, and when we talk about the positive aspects of the society, wherein we're trying to build in a relationship and the interdependence of various sociological perspectives within the society, that is what is termed as the positive science, and you can explain the concept of positivism here. Point out two differences between sociology and social anthropology. Now, social anthropology, one is the way of their data collection. One would be the way of or their aspect of data collection, wherein you see that sociology takes its data from the social surveys and social anthropology takes its data from the chief data is collected from the participant observation. One being this, the second being that it studies about tribes, it studies about peasants, it studies about pre-literate societies. Social anthropology is the one which studies about tribals, which studies about peasants, which studies about the pre-literate societies, wherein you have sociology talking about only the complex and modern urban societies, and these are what the differences would be. Moving ahead, discuss the relationship between history and sociology. We have talked about it, the concept of historical sociology and the sociological history. This is something that can be talked about in the aspect of relationships between it. Also, when you talk about that, both of them are again interested in the society, in the study of human society. They are the matter of fact is the debatable is the use of the methodologies out there. So historians accept a lot of views that sociologists gave, and sociologists gave accept a lot of views that historians gave. Now historians have adopted a lot of sociological perspectives, whereas we also understand that a society, the present, cannot be understood, can't be understood without the study of past, and hence we have adopted a lot of historical evidences or historical studies as well. Discuss relationship between sociology and history is the same question here. Discuss the relationship between sociology and economics. We have talked about it, both of them dealing with the economical sphere only, both of them having their relation or the criteria of the study of economic activities only, and also how both of them are talking about the human society and are referring to the interdependence here, and also kind of making the learning easy for each other is what we're going to talk about here. Discuss the relationship between sociology and political sciences. When you talk about the relationship between sociology and political sciences, we do talk about how here we just talk about the power relations, how we just, how there are, sociology has studied, or sociology studies the process which enables a group to secure and wield that power. So the interface between sociology and political science is known as the political sociology. So you can mention the aspect of political sociology here, and also how these two are in relation with each other in context of the power and in context of understanding the power dynamics. Discuss the similarities and dissimilarities between sociology and political science. We have just studied about the similarities, talking about the differences. This political science is only the study of power, that is the legal power that is embedded in the formal organizations, wherein herein we see the interrelationships of the power dynamics, and that is the major difference. Moving on to discuss the relationships and the differences of the sociology and social anthropology. Now, social anthropology and sociology are very close-knit terms. Now, differences out here are, social anthropology is the study of the tribal, is the study of peasants. We have just talked about it in the previous slide. However, sociology is talking about the complex and the modern and the urban societies. Sociology, the way the data collection is the difference out here. The way the data is collected is a difference, where here in social anthropology, you have participant observation being taken care of, and in sociology, you have the surveys as the major part of data collection. In relationship, it is very much in sync with each other. It is very much seen in the sphere wherein you at times do not see in a lot of societies the division between social anthropology and sociology. You may here take an example of India and describe by taking this example. We cannot actually study the urban society or the rural society in isolation, and that is how we will be able to describe the relationships between the social anthropology and sociology. So I hope all of this chapter, starting from understanding the origin of sociology, the nature, the scope, the kind of distinctions that we have, the understanding of sciences, sociology as sciences and sociology as social sciences is clear. Then moving on to the relationship of sociology with other disciplines is clear to all of you, and you will be able to answer all of the questions on your own.